there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my February TBR. But before we go ahead and get on into the TBR, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to all of my social medias, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon. So for the month of February, I have 5 books that I want to finish. Finish, because some of them I have already started. And let's just jump on into it. The first one is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, which is a spinoff of her Caraval series. And I'm almost done with this. I do have about, I think, 70 pages left, and I have been physically reading this as well as audiobooking this, and I'm quite enjoying it. I feel like this one has kept my interest way more than the first book. But in this book, or this series, we're following a girl named Evangeline. And Evangeline went to what is known as the Magnificent North, but essentially she got involved with a fate known as Jax. And fates are immortal beings, but they kind of are mischievous. And there is a lot of attraction between the two of them. And they are trying to collect all of these magical stones, or she is, because she wants to open what's known as the Valerie Arch. And the Valerie Arch was this magical artifact that was created by this old family called the Valors. And no one knows exactly what is on the other side of this arch. There's a rumor that there is just a bunch of treasure, and there's a rumor that there's an abomination. And Evangeline has her own reasons for wanting to open this arch, so she's currently trying to find all the stones. And then obviously a whole bunch of stuff is trying to stop her. She has been cursed, so she's dealing with this curse. She's trying to deal with Jax, who she doesn't know if she can trust, in addition to kind of, trying to not be attracted to him. And then we have vampires that are in the mix, and everybody has motivation for trying to help her open the arch or prevent her from opening the arch. So what's keeping me interested is what's the truth behind this arch? Is it good or bad? And I'm having such a fun time reading this. I feel like this book has been way more fun for me than the first one. Can't wait till the third book comes out, which is later on in this year. I'll definitely be picking it up. And because I'm really in the whimsical, carnival, circusy type mood, I'm going to pick up Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. This is a book that I picked up used a while ago. My library does have the audio version of this, which is nice, and the second book is already out in this series. But this definitely fits right into the feel of Caraval, in my opinion. This is a YA fantasy. But in this book, we are following a city that is covered in ice and ruin, and we're following a group of magicians as they have to face off in order to become the new opening act for this circus. We have Kalia, who is a showgirl who's determined to show that she will win. We have the master, who is Jack, the enigmatic owner of a club, and DeMarco, the brooding judge who's haunted by a past that he cannot escape. So this book just sounds dark and mysterious and fun and filled with magic and illusions and whimsy, definitely in the same vein as Caraval, and I'm super pumped to finally get to it. Next, I want to read The Call of the Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. This is the second book in the Tile trilogy, which is a maritime fantasy that includes dragons. And I read The Bone Ships. I think that was one of the first books I read last year, and I do want to continue on with the series. I really love seafaring type books, maritime type books. In fact, I did a whole video where I talked about some recommendations. I'll put that up in the cards for you guys. And I felt like this was a good time to pick this book up. So in the first book, we are following 2 main characters. The first one, oh God, I can't remember his name. He's about 19 years old, and he was put to captain this ship where convicts are actually sent to serve their prison sentence. And then we follow shipwife Mies, who was this really, really famous shipwife. Basically a shipwife is a captain, and she's kind of no nonsense, I'm gonna get stuff done, and she comes in to help bring order to this convict ship. And they are all successful, and they go out on this mission to chase this dragon. And dragons have not been seen in this land for a long, long time. However, they used to be hunted because the bone ships, these ships were made from dragon bones, and they are indestructible and last a long, long time. So there's a high demand for these dragons. So that is what we got in the first book. And the first book really didn't delve too much into the dragons and why they were hunting them. And we learned kind of some reasons that Mies had to chase the dragon that weren't really what we originally thought. And if I'm reading like the back of the second book, like there's really not a lot of information telling me what this book is going to about. I think it's just a continuation of that story. There's really not a lot here. It says, dragons have returned to the 100 Isles, but their return heralds war and destruction. When dying slaves are discovered in the bowels of a ship, shipwife Mies and the crew of the Tide Child find themselves drawn into a vicious plot that will leave them questioning their loyalties and fighting for their lives. So I honestly cannot say what else is going to happen in this plot to expand on the first one. I'm just going to have to jump in and see for myself. Then we have The Fall of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. No, I have not finished this yet. In fact, I have not picked this book up, I think, since December. Because I was reading it. I'm on page 209. So I was reading this and then I stopped to read Empire of Silence, and that took me way longer than I was hoping it would. It's definitely a chunker. So I do want to finish this. I wanted to finish this last year and I didn't get to it. But this is the last book in the Books of Babel series, and we are following Senlin as he is trying to find his wife who was kidnapped in the Tower of Babel. And I mean, this is the fourth book, so a lot of things have happened, and we learn a lot more about his wife and exactly what happened, some decisions she had to make. We are learning about the hierarchy of the tower. We are learning about some rebellion that is happening within the tower. And I will say that the first 200 pages of this book were very hard for me to get through, which is the first time I've ever said that about any of Josiah Bancroft's books, because we are following Adam. Adam is a character that was not really even present in The Hod King, but he is part of the story. And it just really was not that interesting for me, and we had a lot of page time with Adam. And eventually, we jumped into page time with Senlin, which is where I wanted to be. And I'm hoping that the story focuses more on his journey than jumping back to Adam, even though it all does fit together, because it just really was having trouble gripping me. But this is a chunker. I think it's like 600 pages, but I do definitely plan to finish it in February. And finally, we have our buddy read for the month of February, and that is The Heroes by Joe Abercrombie. This is book 2 in his Levelers trilogy. And as far as I know, these can be read as standalones, but it takes place in his first law world. And my patrons voted on reading this book, and I did already check it out from my library, the audiobook, so I will have that to help me get through such a big book. And if it is the same narrator as Best Served Cold, that's awesome, because he's really, really good. But in this book, we're following the character of Black Dow, and Black Dow has basically risen in the ranks to take over this land, and he's kind of ruthless about how he takes over things. And then we have the leader of the Union, who sees Black Dow as a threat and will do whatever he can to stop him from climbing up any further and maybe threatening his own position. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of wars, a lot of fighting, a lot of political machinations in this book, as with all Abercrombie books. So I'm really excited to see how it fits into his first law world. So if you are interested in buddy reading with us, go ahead and click the Discord link down below. All right, you guys, that is it for my February TBR. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, or what you're reading for the month of February, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye.